Alright, hello everyone, my name is Disc. I'm a title healer from the War Within, and this is an 18 Magisters Terrace running Oracle playing Shield build. I have a twofer for today. Sorry I have not made too many videos recently, just been way too busy. But yeah, apologize the lack of editing. I'd rather get just some content up to keep things rolling. But here on the front, I've already set my macros for tank healing. I have run command macros to fire evangelism at radiance at tank by default. And I also have a new run command macro to fire shields at tank. And I think that is very, very helpful as Oracle. It takes two very common spells and makes them as easy as the press of a button. It takes out the mousing over of something that's frequent. Makes a big difference if you ask me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Terrace holds what we require.
But the first pull here, I wasn't fully privy on what we were doing. I PI'd the lock when I should have PI'd our Demon Hunter. Focus on the big guy, obviously. Yeah, so apparently there's a wall strat pull. And also apparently, did that mechanic change when you're selected with the ground puddles? I feel like it used to only damage you if you touched the puddle, but apparently now it's just a damaging attack. Have I been wrong all along, or did that change? Okay, I'm picked again, so I fade. Trying to keep the ground damage consolidated a little. And we're moving on. But that pull is pretty nice. I think largely what it does from my perspective is these magic dots. We don't get two at a time that way, so it makes it a lot easier to manage those magic dots. Purge. So I am taking Mass Dispel here, and it's mainly for these magic dots. But with that wall trick, we don't even have two that go out at once. Okay, PI is 20 seconds away. I believe we have it on mini-boss downstairs. I need to get in a little better practice, too, of just spamming shields out of combat. Stack those palms. Okay, my focus is set. Radiance into evangelism. We just got PI. PI is out. What did I say? Okay, and we have a darkness too. So, in hindsight, that might have been a slight overcommitment from the team's perspective. Evangelism and darkness, it might have been better to have those staggered. I think that was my call, though. I'm not too sure. But on this one, I paints up myself. Defensive penance. Really have to go like manual, if you will, not having spells to play.
I've missed this library, but we can't afford to go.
And it gets a little dicey leading into next boss. Focus is set.
To think Rama could go this far to keep me out.
That attack definitely changed the single target. It had to have. Faded before that dispersal. Fade is a major button. If you don't have a good keybind for that, you should get one. I would say the easier the better. You don't really want it to be a hard button to press. Like, for example, don't have it Shift Alt and a button. Okay, things. So I would say that was on me. I would attribute people getting low to one, like not being ready. I think two, because the single target attack is different now, unless I'm totally crazy, that threw me off too. When I was selected, I got really low before I even pressed my wall. Okay, so I have my focus selected. We do have evangelism and PI. Okay, I think I remember what we do here. We're all a little bit spooked. Well, me and Theorize are in Discord, but we have uppies. So I delay for a second here, waiting for the worms to get low. And reactive triage with that Shadow Mend. Okay. The ignition faded right as I hit wall. It's okay. And the rest of this fight, we do not engage any of the ads. Actually, I take that back. I think we pick up the worms. But I would say, yeah, I'm trying to ping red there, saying don't touch, don't touch. And that lock almost got us in trouble. I was going in for that ball. Instead, he took a second. Definitely share balls. That's what she said. And that was a burn phase. I don't think I did too much there. But when does an Oracle Priest do too much? Yeah, and all I'm tracking here with Bigwigs is the Expulsion. That's the damaging event. But I'm also tracking the Protocol. That's the damage phase. So I always like tracking a damage amp, and then I try to only track one or two damaging events. So for those worms, I gave myself a paints up. I'd have to replay it to see if it was even active when they blew up, but I paired it with evangelism also, and we're fine. Getting PI in 3, I'm not sure if I played or not. Yeah, it's played. And why is that not showing on my frames anymore? Like, Blizzard, they keep changing APIs, and it's driving me nuts. We do have some big shields, though. I'm saying, don't go over there. And on these expulsions, let's see, do I fade? Yeah. You can fade everyone. You should fade everyone. Do we have a Magic Dispel in party? Is our lock playing Magic Dispel? Here comes another expulsion. Another fade. And I think I'm still playing Mind Blast as if I were Voidweaver. I think the better thing to do there would be unload the Mind Blast before the attack. So right as the attack happens, you just unload the penance. Okay, we just got evangelism. We're going to want it here. Desperate Prayer and Fade are both up. We're going to want those too. We have more worms that blow up. Couple dots. Start unloading penance. And then I change my focus to one of these humans because they will outlast the worms. I definitely need someone to attack to heal. Okay. Both defensives, Radiance into Evangelism, Mind Blast into a defensive penance, and a paints up that I don't think was needed. Ouch. Just got uppies. And if you watched my other video, I was talking about I'm not sure if there's a way to track targeted spells anymore. The add-on I was using, the APIs blocked a lot of its utility. You can no longer highlight a unit frame with a targeted attack, which I suppose makes it harder to catch melds. It also makes it harder as a priest to get ahead of damage with our shields. It makes no sense to me why I have to look who's being targeted on a nameplate and then correlate it to a unit frame. I don't really think that's good design from a developer standpoint. I really think these targeted casts, their indication belongs on a unit frame. But what can you do? Okay, PI is out. We have uppies. And this is a little bit more of a minor pull, so it looks like I'm holding back. Missing some executes here, not the biggest deal. Okay, and I took a glaive, so great time for the uppies. Might have been better to hold it for next pull. But Shadow Meld is great for these glaives. It'll mitigate both of them. It's just I'm not being targeted. Or am I and I just missed it? Who knows? Okay, we do have evangelism. How are we doing this? Quick magic dispels. Looks like I'm holding back on just about everything. There goes the Mind Blast. Okay, this is a lust pulse. Let's hold our breath. Quick magic dispels. Does not hurt at all to go ahead and play your Desperate Prayer. Looks like I used a potion too. Quick reaction times with the Shadow Mend when and where necessary. Defensive Penance. I took another glaive, I think. Yeah, I have a glaive on, so I paint up myself. I would say on this boss, paint ups are less important than paint ups on the trash. But since I wasn't picked at all for the glaives, I had meld to give for a drink. Got a slight lead on my drink. Yeah, I have a macro for meld drink. Really nice. Just got PI. Grab both they asses in. And I think the call with PI here is we don't have meta yet. And we definitely want to give extra love to these guys. Defensive Penance. Oh yeah, and I remember our Demon Hunter died there and we didn't know why. So I'm going to have to replay that if anyone can catch that for me. We also have boss purges. I fade. Evangelism to recover. Big nice void shield before we go in. Okay, and I think this one gets a little spooky because they hold the bleed quite a while before they can clear. Defensive penance are necessary. Paints up the Aug. He had his own defensive rolling. Completely covered. No paints ups now though. I think maybe there's an argument to call that an overcommitment too. If I saw he was running a personal, could have held back on my paints up. Void shield before we go in. We also have a Zephyr. Love it. Rinse and repeat. I think this boss is pretty fun. There's just not too much to it though. Okay, so we're in the same boat. The Aug has it. And we have to delay for the zone. I think he's taken 2 defensive penance at this point. He took a void shield. And Uppy's covered. Just got PI. There it goes. And this one I'd like to clear almost insta. Radiance into Evangelism. Really nice defensive penance into the Evoker again. He really needed that. It's definitely a game of win to and win not to. I think I was saying it more in my other video, but when it comes to like how I use penance or like how I think about it, generally I want it to go into an enemy. But every time I have a penance to give, I make that call. Is it better I attack right now, or is it better I heal? Win to, win not to. You can always drink while you do this drain. I think I kind of forget this pull. I think we go around the corner. And also looks like I need to play Fortitude. Also could be spamming shields here just to bank some palms. I want to get better at that. Major procs here on Void Shields. Love it. Spinning some globals, just getting a couple natural dots out. I think the best time to ever like play a couple extra dots is on gathers. Okay, and then this Shadow Rift guy, consuming shadows, fucks the group up. The coordinated call in Discord is darkness. I did not have any spells. And I think we get one more. Except I just played Evangelism, so it's preemptive of the attack. Let's hope we kill him. Uh-oh. Shadowman for the win. Yeah, we're a very reactionary class now. I think these changes are taking us a little too far away from the fantasy of this role. I think if they would just make Voidweaver more comparable to Oracle, that would give us, you know, players who like the fantasy of attacking. It would give us the freedom to do that again. Okay, that was my fear. We definitely have to watch for the casters here. They stand out as a slightly pink color on nameplates. They do that fear attack, and our Psychic Scream can counter it. So I definitely think maybe a philosophy I live by with fear is I'd rather it be a backup spell for the party. I'd rather not necessarily play it on the first cast. But that's what happened. Meld drink. Love that macro. I don't know what I would do without Meld as Oracle. Okay, and then this big guy does more of the shadow attack. So I have Uppies coming up. I have Evangelism. I think I would rather play Uppies to cover the first one. Let's see. I use Evangelism. It's okay. Couple defensive penance. I would have rather played Uppies there for the uptime. That's okay. Better Blizz plates, if anyone's wondering about my nameplates. Yeah, then here's the Uppies. So like I'm sending it just for the uptime. Didn't really need it. But this guy, the Devouring Tyrant, he is the guy that does massive heal absorbs. So Radiance, Mind Blast, Defensive Penance. That's about the best single target heal you can do. PI's out. And all I'm thinking with these Void Shields is I really don't want to just blast my penance out for uptime's sake. You kind of need to reserve them a little bit for those heal absorbs. You're gonna need a defensive penance, and best case scenario, you want to pair it with a Mind Blast to make it a shadowy penance. Yep. So there's a Mind Blast and another defensive penance. And another defensive penance. Drink as much as I can here. And I need to get Fortitude out. That was something that changed with the APIs. My Grid 2 is not showing Fort anymore. Okay, PIs in a minute. We have both Pain Subs, Evangelism. And definitely want to lean into the game here of dot spread as much as you can. And for the most part, you can let your penance do it, as long as you have Encouraging Shadows. And we have to watch for these stings. So with my my bigwigs, the only two attacks I'm tracking are the sting and the grasp. Those are our damaging events. Here comes the first grasp. I believe I evangelism with it. Definitely going to want to fade, at least. Radiance into evangelism. Mind Blast, penance. Just got PI. And does anyone know, does that add-on mini CC, is that worth anything for tracking party offensives? Oh yeah, I remember this now. Our Evoker, I think 3 times he touches his toes in the black pools and it almost kills him. That was the first one. We did it too. Shit. Defensive penance into myself. Shadow Mins to recover. Body and soul. Okay, pain sub this one. Poor Evoker. Okay. We do have Evangelism next. Gotta be careful with these stings though. I believe I might play a defensive penance. Yeah, into the Aug. He needed it. Let's see. That guy doesn't have a dot. Now he does. Okay, missing 2 dots out. Let's let my penance do the work here. Mind Blast. Uppies. Death on the way up. And it covers that grasp. Boom. Why am I not playing Fort? I'm just out of practice, guys. So here we have a moment where I would call it a gather. Just playing dots, playing my penance. I think maybe the better kill target here would be if I was on one of the casters, the ones that are slightly pink. I have so much to do today. We're going camping this weekend. Still not finished my video edit for my dance piece, if anyone's wondering. I've made really good progress though. And it's looking good. Let's see, we're at 1 death. It was theorized on that second boss. The mystery death, where he was just pwned. I think it might have been a tank thing. If anyone saw that or can give me a synopsis, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, we were talking about it in Discord when it happened. We don't know what happened. Okay. On the Devouring Tyrant. Set my focus. I set Skull. Evangelism, Mind Blast, Defensive Penance into the tank. Recovers that heal absorb. And I do think those are the main mechanics we have to watch for here. Mind Blast into another defensive penance, guaranteeing its 50% increased value. Another defensive penance followed by my only Shadow Mend. Thankfully we had another Mind Blast into a defensive penance. Let's see who I set my focus on. Yeah, on a caster. Quick magic dispels here. And I think the call, we just got PI, but we don't have meta. Could have played it on the Warlock perhaps, but our call was just hold for boss. I'm also very low on mana. I believe I meld drink here. Yep, great macro. So I make sure atonements are out, I make sure dots are out, and then I kind of have the freedom to meld drink. And in this moment, I'm just hovering on the tank, ready to act at any moment. Big skip.
Champion, I know what to do. I'll need to attune the Cynosure to the Void Storm.
And what the hell's a Cynosure, by the way?
What is that monstrosity? You keep it occupied.
And on this fight, I really don't think it's much of a healing check at all. I find if I just hit my rotation, play my defensives if I ever have to catch a volleyball, it's just like all we focus on here is just our rotation. Dispels on the tank. And I think the way our tank plays is every time he gets a dispel, he steps back into the puddle to consolidate them. So I try and throw him like shields and stuff when that happens. Okay, so here's a volleyball. Both defensives. We do have uppies. Volleyball, so I fade. Mind Blast into uppies. And, you know, it's a couple second of a channel. I always try and plan my next move after the uppies. So you might notice right there, like what I was doing, my cursor was already hovering on the people that were low to give them heals. I think maybe the best thing you can do here too, that was a little bit of a sus paints up. I was going to say is watch friendly nameplates to see who's catching volleyballs. I think that's the best thing you can do to maybe like preemptively shield them. Like for example, right there when I paints up myself, the evoker was stepping into a volleyball. It might have been better to paints up him. Okay, I caught another volleyball with Desperate Prayer. Radiance into Evangelism. Couple of defensive penance. There's a paint up on the evoker. Just got PI. No need to coordinate it anymore, just full send. No paints ups, no uppies. We have to get through this manually. I do have locked rocks. I'd like to use that. And I think I used it. Fade for the ball. That's what she said. And boom. That was our first 18. I think we timed 3 keys in a row tonight. It was pretty fun and successful. These days with Warcraft, I just aim for fun. And we had a fun night playing. I do wish I was Voidweaver, but it's just not in the best position at the moment. However, Oracle is strong, and if you want to time keys, there's really not too much to it. Shield build with Oracle is easy. I like the difficulty, but I also like timing keys. And just because something is easier, I don't necessarily mean that as like a bad thing. I think it's easy in a good way. We have like 3 buttons we press and we time keys. And all I really want to work on as soon as I have time is figuring out how to track targeted casts better, or at least track targeted casts that are on me for Shadow Meld. But yeah, sorry for the a little bit cheaper videos recently without any editing at the start, but I've just been too busy and I'd rather get something up for the sake of my channel and for my viewers. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Check me out on Medify for my WoW coaching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Say a prayer for me this weekend going camping, and cross your fingers for me with this dance piece I'm editing. But yeah, until next time, Disc out.